Hello and welcome to the Sepang International Circuit for highlights from round 2 of the Formula SimRacing World Championship. I'm Edward Hunter, and now let's go through all the developments ahead of the race. After a dramatic steward's inquiry, Unicorns of Love driver Carlos Martin was penalised 2 places in the San Marino Grand Prix for this incident, promoting Robin Pansar and Tom Oldenmenger to 8th and 9th. Edge eSports' Jake Dennehan also incurred the wrath of the stewards after slowing down to let rival driver Jan Vosnicker through for position, leading to the Irishman's disqualification. Michi Hoyer was unable to race in Malaysia after contracting COVID-19, his Burst eSports car instead being piloted by Polish driver David Mroczek. Also absent from the grid in Sepang is the TR Motorsports team. After a difficult start in Imola, they'll be fielding a new lineup in time for round 3. Janos Braksok took Arnage Competition's first ever pole position and led away the field at the start, but it was another bad getaway for Dennis Jordan, who found himself being swamped by No Roivers and the 2 Unicorns of Love. There was trouble at the tail end of the pack when Oldenmenger hit the side of Roberto Pinataro and spun. Worse was to follow though for Burst Simplexity when Pansar spun into the gravel at turn 14, ending a miserable first lap for the Danish squad. Braksok began to stretch out a gap out front, as Roivers slipstreamed past Siebel to take second, whilst Colin Spork swapped positions with his teammate Martin to climb to 4th. The Spaniard was beginning to struggle, falling victim to Red Bull's Jordan, followed by a resurgent Sander Callas. Martin attempted to repass the ground effect driver on the outside of turn 4, but found himself running out of road. Things were about to get even worse for the Unicorns of Love driver as he spun on the curb approaching turn 12, dropping him outside the top 10. His teammate was also in trouble, with Jordan using the slipstream in DRS to dive up the inside of Spork at turn 1. Braksok then pit early for a set of soft tyres on lap 13 and found himself stuck behind Jake Dennehan for a lap, before using the DRS to clear him on the back straight, before doing the exact same to Ivan Leonov a lap later. Meanwhile, Red Bull were on the attack as Siebel relieved Roivers of the lead, and was followed by a near identical move from Jordan on the following lap. Braksok then passed Mroczek into the first corner as Roivers pit from 3rd, followed a lap later by Colin Spork. The other net wrecks as Vosnicker was having trouble passing Callas for 4th, the 2 running side by side into turn 4 as the Estonian repassed Vosnicker, making minor contact. Siebel then pit from the lead for medium tyres as Vosnicker then tried another move on Callas, this time successfully cutting him off at turn 2. Spork had undercut Siebel. Now it was his turn to dive up the inside of Callas at turn 11 with his soft tyres. Jordan then pit for new softs, allowing Braksok to retake the lead as Spork made good use of the DRS to pass Vosnicker on the outside down the start-finish straight as Siebel dispatched of Callas just behind. Jordan rejoined the race right behind Roivers, who had had a slow pit stop after initially missing his pit box. Now, Siebel was set on the task of passing Vosnicker to chase after Spork, but the Polish driver still had a surprising amount of life left in his soft tyres, and the XX driver got his elbows out, putting up a robust and thrilling defence as he held on all the way around the outside of turns 5 and 6 to keep the Red Bull at bay. When the German briefly put 2 wheels in the gravel, Callas now attacked into the turn 11 hairpin. Siebel fended him off, but then disaster struck when the Estonian drew alongside and understeered into the side of Siebel, spinning him out and dropping the Red Bull down to a lowly 8th position. The task of passing Vosnicker now fell to Siebel's teammate Jordan, who wisely opted to use the DRS down the back straight. Now the way was clear for him to challenge Spork. Braksok and Vosnicker made second stops for mediums on lap 26, indicating that they were both on a free-stop strategy. The Hungarian made quick work of Lauren Kiersmakers before the edge driver found himself under attack from Mroczek's burst car. The Belgian was then defenceless to stop Vosnicker as Siebel extended his stint and found Braksok going around the outside of him. The battle for the lead was now in full swing as Jordan caught Spork and attempted to go around the outside of him at turn 1. But the Unicorns of Love driver refused to give up that easily and held his line, holding the lead despite minor contact at turn 2. Jordan then made another lunge at turn 11 to try and provoke a mistake from the Dutchman, and by lap 33 Spork had had enough, diving for the pit lane and for a new set of medium compound tyres. Callas was able to overcome Kiersmakers for 8th, whilst up front Roivers was easy picking for the flying pink machine of Braksok. Jordan made his second and final stop for mediums on lap 39 along with Roivers and Siebel on softs. Spork then cleared Vosnicker fairly straightforwardly using the DRS, and Jordan soon followed him through, going all the way around the outside at turn 1 with his better grip. This would now be the battle for victory, with Braxock having to make a third and final stop from the lead for soft tyres, which put him into 4th. Jordan then attempted to cut to the inside of Spork at turns 7 and 8, but thought better of it and backed out. With the leaders having got through, Voznica decided to make his final pit stop. This would have promoted Braxock to 3rd, but a software issue brought the Arnage to a screeching halt, cruelly ending what had been a strong drive. Jordan picked his moment and went for an inspired overtake, outbraking Spork at turn 14, but the Unicorns of Love Driver would almost immediately benefit from being behind in the DRS zone as a result, breezing back past around the outside and hanging on for dear life through turn 1 to retake the lead. Jordan was fired up and on fresher tyres though, and was not about to take this sitting down. The number 3 car's defence of the lead would prove to be short-lived, as Jordan dived to the outside of Spork at turn 4 and braved it out, sticking his nose in front and taking the inside for turn 5. This time there was nothing that the Dutchman could do to fight back. Siebel mounted an incredible comeback in the second half of the race and had caught up to Roivers in the fight for the podium. The Netrex driver forced him to go the long way around, and they duelled side by side throughout the first sector. Both drivers had pit at the exact same time, but it was Siebel who had managed his tyres better and was able to get better performance out of them in the final stages, going all the way around the outside at turn 4, and then gaining just enough overlap to force Roivers into backing out, getting Siebel onto the podium. But Siebel wasn't done yet. With 3 laps to go, he had rapidly closed on Spork, who forced him to a ring of death around the outside of turn 1. Then there was a heart and mouth moment as Siebel banged wheels with the Unicorns of Love Driver, with both emerging unscathed. Knowing Siebel was much faster, Spork went wide at the final corner in order to pick up his slipstream going into the penultimate lap. The Dutchman tried to cut to the inside of the Red Bull, but Siebel saw it coming from a mile away and forced the Unicorns of Love Driver to the outside. Spork tried to play it to his advantage though, by diving deep into turn 2, but Siebel got the better exit and held the inside through the long run into turns 3 and 4. Finally, Spork had to concede defeat to the Red Bull as Siebel completed the move. Neither of them could catch Jordan though, who 7 seconds up the road crossed the line to take his first win of the season, and a Red Bull 1-2 to boot after Siebel's miraculous recovery. Spork had to settle for 3rd ahead of the 2 Netrex cars of Roivers and Voznica. Callas took his first top 6 since the 2020 British Grand Prix ahead of Mroczek, Zux and Kiersmakers, who took his first top 10 in 10 years. Skovron was 10th ahead of a disappointed Martin. Denahan took his first official finish in the World Championship ahead of Leonov, Pansar, Oldenmenger, Adam Rainey and Pignataro, with Braxock being the sole unfortunate retirement. Colin Spork still leads the Drivers' Championship, but Dennis Jordan is level on points for him after winning in Sepang. Alex Siebel is 8 points behind in 3rd, just 2 ahead of Jan Voznica, as Roivers' 4th place also keeps him firmly in the title hunt. After a thrilling round in Malaysia, FSR now looks forward to round 3 in Matsusaka, Japan on the 3rd of April, as everyone in the series also wishes Michi Hoyer a speedy recovery. From me, Edward Hunter, it's goodbye from Sepang.